Hello. Vlog number 14 ended with the introduction of a new character. Now, this character appears from the very onset of his being introduced into the narrative to be an acquaintance of John Taylor's during combat training in Afghanistan. His name is Dawson Miles, in case you've forgotten. And the story tells of an equally ambitious man with whom Mr. Taylor had escaped Kunduz, but instead and preferred crossing over to Uzbekistan. So the question arises, but how is it that this man is to be found amongst men from whom he'd fled 9 years ago? The events leading to such a predicament are left out for the reader to figure out. But I'm quite sure you will own that he must have been captured by the STM's field agents. Welcome back. This is episode number 15 of Survive. And this is where John Taylor reunites with his past demons and basically is screwed. His girlfriend Julia, for those coming in for the first time, is still back in campus hostels, lost and expecting he would show up. In any case, it's graduation day and logic should have compelled him to go discuss his next move with her. Mr. Taylor did not bother. This is actually common with most men in relationships, even those who are married. Most of us tend to conceal critical information and find it unnecessary to reveal certain plans to our loved ones. Whether it is our whereabouts, money, properties, enemies, friends, etc. The 17th and the 19th century Englishman was an isolated case. Talk of open-mindedness with a tincture of madness. But of course, you might want to just conclude that it's just the wheel of time. Now, between the 17th and 19th centuries, wife selling for those who were married was a weird custom with a practical purpose. Englishmen once sold their wives instead of getting divorced. In fact, a story is told of one Mr. George Ray who tied a halter around his wife's waist and headed to the nearest market. This man wasn't there to buy anything, he was there to sell his wife. One Mr. William Atwood turned out to be the highest bidder. George Ray's commodity had cost him just a shilling. A witness reported that William walked off arm in arm with his smiling bargain. That is funny, right? Yeah, I know. The scene sounds like an elaborate joke. In reality, anything but that. Divorce was prohibitively expensive in those days. So some English lower class men sold their loved ones instead. And these actions, I confirm, arose as a form of false divorce. And I would assume that these men never left their spouses without a clue about what was going to be their fate. Now, I'm not saying that John Taylor's intention was to disappear from Julia's life, not at all. His was, in fact, a kind of planned surprise. But most of men today are a mysterious folk. That one I'm going to confirm. John Taylor's case sounds like some sort of bad luck. The Shrine Tank of movement had been spying on him in medical school, and now they had him. They had captured him already. So I'm going to proceed from where I left in the previous episode. This is book 1 of the File Soldier series. By and by, and an excellent command of the vital fragments of my past memories, by the time we reached 2,000 feet above the sea level. Confirm Squawk Alpha Bravo 101625 Alpha Bravo, squawking code 101625. My plan of beginning a career as a neurosurgeon was a blink one. My future reunion with Julia was presented before me as crumbling reality, and I resolved to face this reality as absolute necessity if my wish was to be sane enough. The calmer of the guys called, "John!" The man had no traces of impulsive infractions. He was calculative. His air was that of a man who had mastered the art of war under a guise of magnificent patience. "Sir," I returned. "My name is Jake," he said, rolling his cavernous eyes. "Activated as the X-Files official coordinator, we've got to strike hard to kill the snake." Rumors had it that this man Jake had spent Peggy's money and left her. "What? The X-Files?" I asked. "I'm afraid I cannot help you. You pests never recover on this shit." "Learn to get along, Mr. Taylor," he said, pushing his hand through his silven hair. "First, I do the talking. You mess with the bull, you get the horn." "You won't get far," I replied, looking him straight in the eye. "But you know what? Carry on. You're better informed. I never was. All I know is that you won't stop hunting me down until you get what you want. Now you have me. Give yourself a clap." My jaw ached, the kind of pain you would catch deep into the ears. The man had manhandled me. This was one of those fellows to whom speech would be nuisance to the eardrums. Medical school monotony had inflicted me with magnificent patience and dazzling ears already, but I swear this time round I was thoroughly talked at. It was as though these territorial predators had briefly harvested my tongue. "Jake, tell me," I began. "What world are we flying into?" "Europe," he said, drawing a German passport. "It's quite a team now, we are in this together." Apparently, again bravo to my clairvoyant nerve, Mr. Jake Daniel was formerly a researcher at CrowdStrike Security Incorporated in San Francisco before deciding to join a group of Shanghai-based hackers in a clandestine mission to assist them break into satellites belonging to drone and nuclear weapon manufacturers in the United States and Europe. In a secret operation carried out by the Russian Brotherhood computer forensic men, who eventually followed an IP lead to his residence in Hong Kong, Mr. Jake Daniel was busted blowing out steam with a Chinese call-girl set as a decoy. In the same chamber, a US DMS system was discovered on a computer screen in which a complex combination of CIA cryptonyms flashed leftward in a spiral. Amid escalating conflict between the USA and China over online espionage, Mr. Howard Green was deployed to fish Jake out of Hong Kong with a promise that in return he would keep his mouth shut. You piece of work. Only friends can be equals, and that, Mr. Daniels, is what you are not. Spit it out in Berlin, Mr. Taylor, he said, ignoring me. Your US visa means unlimited entry into Germany, all right? But that's irrelevant. What do you want from me? You are insane. Snap out of that, Mr. John Taylor, said Jake. We are in this mess together. You have got to follow your destiny. Something tells me you are against this. Remember, there is a price to pay for every decision you make, sir. Listen very carefully, John, said Jake. If you are too clever, they will rip your face off and I will not save your ass. Take notes if you may. That's quite unnecessary, I said. So that marks the conclusion of my today's episode. You realize that John Taylor has been captured and the STM is headed for Berlin, Germany. So up until the next one, goodbye.